You know, the comments on news articles about criminal actions tell me just how fixated people can be on retribution. Now, I say retribution instead of justice because justice is not what our criminal system has in mind, nor is it what we have in our own minds most of the time. For example, on the story about the murder of a child, people were calling for the murderer to be tortured to death in all manner of ways, and so many others were agreeing with them. Others wanted him imprisoned for life and then to have all the prison rape possible forced on him. I use this extreme example for a reason. After all, how we treat our worst is reflective of our true character. The fact that so many people lose their shit and want to slowly lower this guy into a bath of acid tells me a lot about how much we desire and believe in retribution. Adding that to all the other examples that were in that single comment section alone, to me at least, demonstrates our fixation on the idea of retribution. Someone messes with you? Well, you just gotta get them back. School children work with this logic all too often, as I'm sure you can attest to. It's learned early and reinforced continuously that you hit back when someone hits you. You have to pay back those who wrong you. But beyond the whole eye for an eye makes the whole world blind issue, there's a much bigger problem with this. It sets up society as the ultimate foe for anybody who ever commits a crime. Rather than going back to a society that will allow them a second chance, criminals return to a society that wants them to suffer for their crime. Some people condemn one-time criminals, even if the crime was committed a long time ago. And of course, the worse your crime, the worse this becomes. Once you're a felon, you even lose several of your rights. You can't vote, which is one of the most important powers you can have in a democracy of any sort. Even in one as broken as ours, to deny people the right to vote because they committed a crime is a heinous attack on their personal liberty in the name of retribution. All this does is prevent criminals from leaving that lifestyle and becoming useful members of society. Why would they want to reform and work with people who hate them for something they did in the past? Even if they wanted to make amends and become a better person, society will shun them, judge them, and watch them. How does that help anyone become a better person? All that does is propagate the cycle of hatred and helplessness that feeds our prisons in the first place. Hatred fuels retribution, which fuels more hatred and retribution. Someone kills your brother, so you go out and kill them. Their cousin goes out and kills you as revenge, and now your entire family goes out and kills that guy. Now, two whole families are in a feud because the cycle of hatred and retribution was allowed to take root. Hell, World War II was fueled from the fires of retribution. Germany was crushed under punishment after punishment for their involvement in the First World War, with heavy debt and harsh national restrictions. This led to helpless rage and hatred brewing inside the oppressed Germans, who then became receptive to the vitriol issued by Hitler and his men. But to forego Godwin's law and to actually relate this to current events, our foreign policy angers many in the Middle East. Some of them give in to that hatred and turn into terrorists, attacking America with bombs and even a plane-based attack. Each time we respond with harsh measures and counterstrikes, which kills more people and creates more terrorists. Thus the cycle spins on and on with every new action of retribution just adding fuel to the cycle's spin. Someone has to stand up at some point and say, enough is enough. I forgive those who have wronged us. I want to let go of the past. Someone has to be willing to forgive those who wronged them, even as they seek real justice with compassion. It's necessary to have measures to control and discourage crime, but it's not helpful to antagonize those criminals with these harsh punishments. Nations have a right to defend themselves, but none have the right to destroy a nation as retaliation. Helping the poor and disaffected in that nation will always do more good in the end. When someone wrongs you, while you seek the appropriate justice, you must not hate them. Actually forgive them and take no joy in their punishment. Hope that they learn and become better rather than hope for their suffering. If people could find it in themselves to forgive those who harmed them, rather than giving in to their instinct for revenge, we could all create a world where we have justice rather than revenge, where we have rehabilitation instead of retribution, and people are allowed to learn from their mistakes and grow. Long days and pleasant nights. No. Oh, there, yeah, there's a thing on there.
No.
Yeah, I saw that. I got that message. Roar. So, roar. Okay. So, can you give me a call back in a little? I'm in the middle of recording a video. Bye. Someone has to stand up at some point and say, "Oh, fuck the phone! Fuck! God damn it! You